Hi, my name is Vishnu and I work as a South Asia Regional Manager for University of Leicester. Generally, when students come and meet me, the first question they ask is, what are the advantages of going abroad? It's very important for any student to understand going abroad is like fast forwarding your life for almost 10 years. So generally, when you are here in India, the kind of opportunities you get is immense. I'm not going to deny that, but at the same time, the kind of experience you get when you go abroad is huge. The reason is very simple. You're going to meet tens of different people from different countries, and the kind of experience they get is usually a lot. So going abroad is to improve your network, is the kind of knowledge you get as well as experience. Take a small example. For example, right now in Chennai, we have the metro coming now. But whereas in UK, they had metro for hundreds of years. So that is the kind of difference what you see. When you see much more advanced worlds, the kind of problems you try to solve, the kind of learning you will have is huge. You take, for example, engineering, you take, for example, computer science, you take, for example, management, everything is quite advanced and you would be able to learn from the experts. So that would be the first advantage. And second advantage is obviously the network. When you have students coming from various countries, you will have a lot of students, lot of experience, lot of thought processes coming in. So when you want to come back and even want to start a company, you will have fresh ideas. And those ideas is going to help you to solve a lot of problems which we are facing in India. That's number two. And three, friends. Obviously, whenever you want to go to any other country, you will have a friend by default because you are studying with hundreds of different countries, students from hundreds of different countries. So that's the third benefit what you get. So when you decide to go abroad, the first thing you have to do is understanding what kind of language requirements they have. And most of the students are looking to go abroad, and we generally go with English-based education. So when you're trying to go for English-based education, it's always important that you either have a certification in TOEFL or IELTS, because that's going to help you get the unconditional offer letter from the universities pretty easily. Put some efforts on learning English pretty early on, probably like 6 months ahead of the time, so that when you want to give that test, automatically you would be able to do very, very well in single attempt, or else you might have to do once or twice. It's okay to do once or twice. The reason is we are not native English speakers, but then doing that extra effort of 6 months would always help. Right. So another question generally students ask me or parents ask me is whether my kid should go and study abroad for undergraduate. There's only simple one criteria. If someone wants to go and study abroad, especially for undergraduation, the only criteria they should have is money, because it's going to be a little expensive than what we are doing here. But if anyone can afford that kind of money, my answer to them is they have to go and study abroad. The reason is it's a 3 years experience or 4 years experience, depends on the course you take. And when you go and spend your 3 years, 4 years, than for post-education 1 year, the kind of experience you're going to have, the kind of learnings you're going to have is going to be huge. So I always suggest them, yes, you have to do your studies in undergraduate in abroad. However, it's not mandatory. If you don't have money, if you cannot afford it, rather we can actually go and do for post-graduation. But if there is money, then yes. Generally, for students to go study abroad, especially for undergraduate, a student generally should have about 70-75% for a good college and for a good university. And if they have 70 and 75%, it's easy to get an admission. And another important aspect is mathematics. Most of the courses requires mathematics. So if you don't have mathematics, then you will struggle to get right amount of courses. So always have mathematics as an option in your 11th and 12th standard. That is very important. Now that you have decided to go and study in abroad, and you have to choose the right university, it's very important to know every university has a character. And don't always go by rankings. Rankings does not give you the right picture about the university. So how do you choose university when you're not going to rely on rankings is the first thing. Understand the basic culture of the university, what kind of students they accept. Because if you are a 75 to 80% kind of a guy, what you need is you need a little bit of hand holding. You cannot expect to learn everything. And then if you go to a top ranked university, the professors expect you to learn everything on your own. So it's very important to choose the university. Don't just go by the rankings. Understand what kind of culture they have in the university and whether they would be able to help you a lot. And if you don't do that basic research, then you will go and struggle. So it's very important to understand that. Courses. So see what kind of course you want to do. The very easy way to figure out the course is look at 3 years from now, what do you want to become? So let's say, for example, you want to become a software engineer in 3 years. Understand the job market in that particular country, what kind of jobs are available, and then choose the course which is going to give that particular skills. And that's how you would be able to choose the right course. So get the right university. Number 2, get the right course based on the job demand in that particular country, and look at the skills which is given by that particular course. So this is the right order to find the university. So to go and study in UK, especially, it's important to have a degree with a minimum of 60%, and IELTS requirement is important, and it varies, depends on the courses you want to study. Let's say it starts at 6.0 as a bare minimum, and you should have 6.0 and 5.5 in all the bands, and it goes up to 7 if you're taking a law courses. And degrees should be related to the course you are going to study. So while applying for the universities in UK, understand there are a lot of universities gives out scholarships. Few universities give scholarships for few courses, and few universities does for other universities as well. Few universities give scholarships up to £3,000, and few universities give scholarships up to £6,000. One such example is University of Leicester. When you are applying for courses under computer science, engineering, management, there are default scholarships available. If any student has 65% and above, they get 28% scholarship, which would roughly around £6,000. There are also other universities which offer scholarships, especially for Indian students. Once you browse through the internet, you would be able to figure out those scholarships and the universities' names as well. It's also important to learn a language. For example, English itself is a language, right? So, and how well you master English will help you a lot to understand or do well in when you go to study in UK. And similar to English, you can also learn other languages. Like for example, if you're going for Germany, German is quite important, and same with France. So look at the markets where there are a lot of jobs available, and it's also important to understand learning those languages will always give you an extra edge. And don't just learn it for basic communication purpose, but you have to master it, you have to advance it. It's not that learning languages is only useful when you go abroad, but now in India, we have a lot of companies, especially software companies, who are looking to hire people for translation purposes as well, because we are serving customers across the world, sitting in India. So there are huge amount of opportunities available when you learn foreign language. One good example would be Japanese language. There are a lot of investment coming to India from Japan, and these guys are looking for people who understand Japanese. So similar to Japan, Chinese is also another good example where it is important to learn Chinese because it's a growing market in Asia. French, Germany, Dutch, these are the languages you could also think over. It is also important to understand there is a lot of certifications when you're studying languages. For example, let's take an example for Japanese. You start at N5, N4, N3, N2, N1, and students who do at the level of N2 and N1, it's always easy to get a job in Japan. Similar to Japanese, I guess French and Spanish would also have the same level of diploma courses. And it's always important to learn extra couple of languages that will open up a lot of opportunities for you, not only in India, but also in abroad. Thank you.
If you have any queries, please connect us. We have given a contact number and email ID. Please drop an email or please connect via social network.